Tesla recently dropped a brand new video full of sneak peeks and tidbits on the Robotaxi. We had Nvidia's CEO make a massive statement about Tesla, and Uber's CEO may be feeling a little bit threatened. So we have all that and much more to get into in today's video. But just before we get into it, I want to thank AG1 for sponsoring this video. So like I just said, Tesla released a new video, and I'm going to link it in the description below because I highly recommend that anyone interested in Tesla or an investor into Tesla should absolutely watch this video. But this video was basically showcasing some achievements that Tesla has seen since 2018. Of course, 2018 was when the compensation plan vote was first decided, and it also showcased some of Elon's future plans for Tesla. And you've not got to be a genius to know how far Tesla has come since 2018 and the shareholder value that has been generated. They have achieved so much, including the best-selling car in the world, and this isn't just the best-selling EV, remember. But they also managed to sneak in some very quick tidbits for future products surrounding the Robotaxi, which of course we are expecting to hear more about upcoming in August. And these are very exciting. The first thing that I want to point out is that the Cybercab is looking like it's going to be a stainless steel exoskeleton. So it's going to maybe appear like the Cybertruck does, which is maybe where that name Cybercab has actually originated from. You might ask why they would want these vehicles to have a stainless steel exoskeleton like the Cybertruck. Well, you know, we'll have to wait and see when they actually showcase this vehicle, but it makes sense cost-wise. It's cheaper. You know, there's no paint involved. It is cheaper for them to produce mass scale wise. And also it's very easy to maintain because like we've seen with the Cybertruck, it is very hard to dent. And this image has actually come from the video, and it looks like it might be the rear section of the vehicle, and it matches the prototype that was actually included in Walter Isaacson's book, which I do actually have here, so I'll include a photo of that now side by side, but it appears to be the same concept. And I also imagine this is going to be a two-seater vehicle. Now I, like you, hence why you're watching videos like this on YouTube, care about securing my financial future. But alongside this, I also care deeply about optimizing my overall general health, which is why I've actually been drinking AG1 for a while now, and I'm super excited that I now get the opportunity to share this with my audience. To explain it simply, AG1 is a convenient, science-driven blend of over 70 vitamins and minerals and other ingredients that support your daily nutrition. It honestly makes it super easy. I just mix 1 scoop into cold water, and to describe the taste, it tastes a little bit fruity, actually it tastes pineapple-y, and then a little bit earthy as well. My preference honestly is when it's shaken over ice. It tastes perfect. I really like the flavor. I know that you guys watching this video, you're busy people. But I also know that you care about investing into yourself and optimizing your life. And the number one thing that I've personally felt from drinking AG1 each and every day is that I feel a general boost of energy and focus, which is very necessary to aid me to increase my revenue streams. My mental performance has been better, and I felt way less tired and way less fatigued, which has then helped increase my productivity. There is so much going on with AG1 that we could speak about, but they are so confident that you are going to feel the benefits that if you don't feel 100% satisfied within the first 90 days of your order, they will give you your money back. So you can go to drinkag1.com/Hayley Eich, or you can scan the QR code that I will leave on the screen now, and I'll also pop a link in the description. When you use my link, you will get 20% off when you subscribe, but you'll also get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2, and you'll get 5 free AG1 travel packs, which is super useful, and I actually used these in a recent trip I took to Prague. Thanks again to AG1 for sponsoring this video. In the Tesla video, we also had this screen shot, the screen image here, that could suggest that the doors actually may open upwards, you know, like self-opening and self-closing doors when you reach your destination, which makes complete sense because obviously these are driverless vehicles, they're autonomous vehicles. So for the door to automatically open when you're getting in and open when you're getting out, and it's kind of futuristic, that makes sense to me. It's very cool. And again, this does seem to align with what's in the Walter Isaacson book, and we should expect, based on this video and the book and everything else that we've learned, that there will be absolutely no steering wheel, and like I said earlier, it should be a 2-seater vehicle. Why would it be a two-seater vehicle? Well, obviously right now, two-seater vehicles aren't really a thing. We're used to bigger vehicles. However, when you look at the data, most trips taken are taken by two passengers. Rarely does a car fill up all the seats. And a two-seater vehicle can of course be more efficient on the manufacturing side, but also on the operation cost side too. We also got some more information about the app that will come with this, the ride-hailing app, which does seem to be a lot like Uber's app, but it looks a little bit better in my opinion. We obviously had the still image in the presentation earnings deck, but now we have a video showing it as well. Of course, this is still prototypes at the moment. This is probably not exactly what it's going to be, but it does give us a very, very good indication that number one, this is happening. This is going to be a thing. And number two, we get an idea of what it will actually look like, how it will actually work. But all the features that we expect seem to be here, i.e. you can summon the vehicle when you need it, you can track it, you can see how close it is to picking you up, how close it is to getting to your destination, all things that we're very familiar with. But it also looks like you can set the temperature in the vehicle, you can decide what music is playing, all of that stuff ready for pickup. I very much imagine in August we will get a physical prototype unveiled and we can see what the vehicle actually looks like, if all of these estimations are true or not. And I do also think that we may get a demo of the app itself. It would be really cool if they had a vehicle that was up and running and, you know, a film crew was following it and someone on the stage sort of summoned the vehicle, it came and we could see the whole process. But either way, I think the event on the 8th of the 8th will be very, very interesting. And it just makes all of this way more real. And there's still a lot of people out there that really don't think a robotaxi fleet is going to happen. They don't think Tesla's going to solve autonomy. I just think we're past that now. Gene Munster from Deepwater Asset Management, he actually has a different expectation as to what will happen. He thinks that Tesla are going to unveil 3 new vehicles. So he thinks there's going to be a robotaxi that gets unveiled. He thinks that there's going to be a Model 2, which will be that $25,000 or ish car, which will be basically the same thing as the Robotaxi, but it will have a steering wheel, it will have pedals. It will be the driver vehicle type of the Robotaxi, if that makes sense. And then he also thinks that they're going to have a cyber van, which will carry between 8 and 10 people. I hope he's right, because I think that will be very, very bullish and very interesting. But who knows? We're going to have to wait and see. Give me your predictions as to what we are going to find out and what we're going to see announced in the comments below. Another piece of information that I have been absorbing recently in order to do my own due diligence and research into this company, which is of course very, very important if you have any individual stocks in your portfolio, is actually information, interviews, discussions that have been taking place within the ARK Invest team. In particular, Tasha's take on the Robotaxi and on Tesla in general. I think she's got a really, really strong oversight into Tesla and has done many, many hours of research. So I absolutely love to hear what she says. And I will link the whole video in the description below. But basically, she speaks about how they have a price target, which may be updated soon, but a price target for Tesla of $2,000 per share by 2027, which for some people watching this will seem extraordinarily crazy. It will seem above and beyond, and you will think, no way can this ever happen. But could it? When you crunch the numbers, when you look at what they're doing, I do think it's possible. Now, she said that their analysis to get them to this price target was based on 2/3 of the enterprise value of Tesla being due to robo-taxis. Now, why is this? Why are they allocating so much value to the robo-taxis? Well, number one, we must understand that this is giving Tesla recurring revenues. You are getting a revenue stream that keeps coming in each month, each year, however frequent, versus a model whereby Tesla are just selling a vehicle for a one-up payment, and instead they're able to perhaps do that, but also have this recurring SaaS margin operation happening. So that's the next thing that this ties into. This will be a higher margin revenue stream. Like I said, a SaaS margin, software as a service. And I've spoken about this recently in a whole separate video that I will leave linked on the screen now. absolutely recommend that you go and watch that video. I think Tesla are now at a point where they are shifting, they're making a massive transformation, and I think the margins are about to change. But of course, this won't happen overnight. I'm not under any illusion. Tasha and the team also spoke about something else that is pretty important. They were saying that other companies are not far along enough on the autonomous journey on solving autonomy in vehicles, that it just makes complete sense for these other companies to actually work with Tesla and lease the technology from them. Now, whether the first company that come forward and work with Tesla on this will be Ford or BYD, who knows? Let me know what you think actually, who it will be first in the comments below. But we have seen this happen with the North American Charging Standard, and I think this will happen again with the autonomous technology, with the FSD technology. I don't think companies will be able to just carry on producing vehicles that aren't actually offering customers autonomy in the future. It seems far-fetched right now, but I think we'll quickly get there. But she also mentions that it might take a while for some of the legacy companies to actually come on board and do this, because they may be a little bit hesitant. They may not want to take this direction in their company because for a long time, they've not had to really think heavily about technology. They've been more focused on the manufacturing of vehicles, and that's been about it. So it could take a while, but definitely seeing a pathway in which companies come to Tesla and lease the technology for them, which again is an amazing revenue stream. Now, in terms of hurdles that she is seeing for robotaxis, these are hurdles that we've spoken about on this channel time and time again, and ones that I think everyone can sort of see as hurdles. The number one that she is actually seeing, though, is not regulations, which we'll discuss in just a second. She is actually seeing the number one hurdle just being Tesla proving that the cars are ready for no one to be supervising. Of course, this is only possible when Tesla have absolute strength in their data to prove undoubtedly that an autonomous vehicle is safer than a vehicle with a human driver. Now, bear that in mind that they need the data to prove this, because I want to show you something in just a second. In terms of regulatory hurdles, she recognizes this, she thinks that it's legit, but she also doesn't seem to think that it will be such an issue that maybe other people are thinking, which was quite refreshing to hear about because she's done, such in-depth research. She knows this sector extremely well, and I do think that regulatory hurdles will be quite an issue. So it's refreshing to hear that she doesn't think it's going to be that much of a delay. But she also pointed out, like I said in the last video, that in some states in the US, it will be much easier than others, and across the world, it will obviously vary. Now, not included in the ARK Invest discussion, but I'm just thinking about this now whilst I'm filming this video. I did see an article very recently on the Gov UK website, which is an official website, saying, indicating that the UK will allow self-driving vehicles by 2026. I was under the impression that Europe, the UK in particular, will be a little bit behind on allowing this. But it's, seems to be making good progress. So fingers crossed that this will take place 2026. So what else did they talk about? Well, they spoke about taxi utilization. Again, this is important. It's something that we've spoken about on this channel before. But basically, a normal passenger car that you may have, that I have, is only used about 5% of the time, which is absolutely crazy. These are high-ticketed items and they're being used such a little percentage of the time. Most of the time they're parked at work, parked outside your house, not getting any use at all. They estimate that the normal taxi utilization percentage is about 30%, whereas they think that an autonomous taxi could be about 50% or more, especially if Tesla's robotaxi fleet is going to be cheaper than the likes of Uber and Lyft, which I think it absolutely will be. Talking about Uber, actually, we recently learned that Uber's CEO sold 30% of his stake in the company, and this seemingly came after the robotaxi announcement. Could these two things be linked? Is he getting threatened? Is he a little bit worried? Who knows? Is this just a planned sale? To be honest, I didn't look into it in too much detail, but do let me know what you think about that in the comments below. I personally think I don't think that having a robotaxi fleet by Tesla will completely wipe out Uber if they are smart about it. If they get on board with Tesla and they have, their own Tesla fleet operating and things like that, could be quite good for them. But I think the companies that completely ignore working with Tesla on this potentially eventually could get wiped out. Elon himself over on X recently said that the price target of $2,000 in 5 years, which was said by Cathie Wood in an interview a while ago, is, quote, possible but extremely difficult. So again, he is seeing a pathway into which Tesla becomes this very, very extremely high value company. Massive, it's going to grow a large amount, but it's going to be difficult to achieve. And that's always been the case with Tesla. That's why us investors like this company so much, because they are doing, driven by Elon, they are achieving what seemed like the impossible, which again is why it's so important to vote on the compensation package and on the Delaware, Texas move as well. If you haven't already, please make sure you vote. If you're confused about how you do that, or the platform that you're on isn't allowing that, drop me a comment and I'll see if I can help you at all with that. But it's important that you cast your vote. Now moving on slightly, I want to talk about the FSD safety data, the data that's coming out to prove that Tesla's technology is safer than human drivers. I said earlier on in the video to remember that. Let's talk about this now. So Tesla released new data just the other day showing the miles driven per one accident. And it actually shows that the million miles driven before an accident occurs for Tesla, you know, both Teslas using autopilot technology and also not using it, is way above the US average. So the first thing that this shows us is that Tesla vehicles overall are safer than the average US vehicle. That's obviously very good, but it also shows us that the autopilot technology is proven to be incredibly safe. And that's exactly what we want to be seeing falling into place, moving towards autonomous driving. And interestingly, in Q1 2024, a Tesla using the autopilot technology had one accident per 7.63 million miles driven, which actually meant that, you know, the US average was 11 times higher. Remember, the main point of FSD eventually is safety. That is number one, to make traveling by car more safe. It needs to be way safer, without a doubt, than getting into a car with a human driver. Then after that comes the convenience, but that is not second to safety. Safety is the most important. And I've said this a few times before, but there is no way a company like Tesla, driven by a man like Elon, that has all eyes on it all the time by the mass media, good or bad, you know, we could talk about that all day. You know, they won't prove without a doubt that it's safe. That is going to be their number one thing. And, you know, this data is a good insight into what they're doing behind the scenes. Now let's talk about Nvidia. Now, this video is about Tesla, so I'm not going to talk about the wonderful, wonderful news that Nvidia is finally doing a stock split, a 10-to-1 stock split. Wow. And their earnings were incredible. Kind of just did speak about that. I'm excited. You know, I'm excited about that. Nvidia's CEO recently made a comment on Tesla.
Well, Tesla is far ahead in self-driving cars. But every single car someday will have to have autonomous capability. It's safer, it's more convenient, it's more fun to drive.
So he's just said that Tesla is far ahead with self-driving cars, and he also sees a world in which every single car someday will have autonomous capability. And like we've said, like we've been saying for a while now on this channel, it's clear that Tesla is ahead of anyone else when it comes to this. And you know, he is a man with a lot of status, and I'm very, very sure he has a very good insight into this, so he can say that with confidence. Okay, before we round off this video, there are two more things that I must fill you in on so you're fully up to date with all the happenings in the world of Tesla. I really do hope you find these videos informative and useful, because I spend many, many hours looking into all the most recent news and unpicking it, what's going on in the world of Tesla, so you don't have to spend the same amount of time and you can watch these videos and get a pretty good insight. But anyway, let's just think about Tesla Energy. A couple of things just quickly. Growing extremely well, becoming a very, very, very in-demand product in terms of the mega packs. Margins are looking good. You know, all round, Tesla Energy, very, very optimistic about. But we've recently learned that Tesla have broken ground on the new mega factory in Shanghai and are expecting the factory actually to be up and running by Q1 2025, which if that happens, I think that shows us two things. Number one, how fast Tesla move. Number two, how fast China move. And why is this important? Well, this shows us that the energy segment of Tesla is scaling, which is absolutely what we expect to see. And the next thing is that Pepsi are now apparently taking even more Tesla semi-trucks. Remember, if you do want to try out AG1, which I highly recommend, do so using my link in the description below or scan the QR code on the screen now, because that will get you 20% off when you subscribe, plus a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and those 5 AG1 travel packs as well. Thank you again for AG1 for sponsoring this video. I will see you next time in another video.